The family dinner at my parents' Hamptons estate was going exactly as expected. Premium wine flowing, airline executives mingling, and me quietly typing code on my laptop in the corner. Sarah's still working customer service at that startup. Mom's voice carried across the dining room. All those years at Stanford Business and she can't even land a real executive position. I glanced up to see her entertaining with Dad and my brother James, the newly appointed VP of Global Operations at their airline conglomerate, Air Elite Holdings. Being the underachieving Wilson daughter had become routine. We offered her a management track position, Dad added, swirling his Bordeaux. Even with her unusual interests. Digital infrastructure, I murmured, watching my terminal window. System integration complete. Access protocols verified. Such wasted potential, Mom sighed. Working for some tiny software company. Skyway Systems, I corrected, noting another progress bar. Global network synchronization, 98% complete. Another irrelevant startup, James laughed. This real aviation is about physical assets. Planes, routes, terminals. Not apps. The room hummed with knowing chuckles. The airline industry's old guard loved dismissing digital transformation. Remember when she tried to pitch us last year? James smirked. What was it? Smart access management? Integrated digital infrastructure, I said quietly, checking the status. Elite passenger database loaded. Yes, because paper tickets were such a problem. Mom rolled her eyes. Face it, Sarah. You'll never understand real business. Not without proper guidance. Aviation requires experience, Dad lectured. Real operations. Not computer games. My screen flashed green, systems armed. Awaiting execution command. The family dinner at my parents' Hamptons estate was going exactly as expected. Premium wine flowing, airline executives mingling, and me quietly typing code on my laptop in the corner. Sarah's still working customer service at that startup. Mom's voice carried across the dining room. All those years at Stanford Business and she can't even land a real executive position. I glanced up to see her entertaining with Dad and my brother James, the newly appointed VP of Global Operations at their airline conglomerate, Air Elite Holdings. Being the underachieving Wilson daughter had become routine. We offered her a management track position, Dad added, swirling his Bordeaux. Even with her unusual interests. Digital infrastructure, I murmured, watching my terminal window. System integration complete. Access protocols verified. Such wasted potential, Mom sighed. Working for some tiny software company. Skyway Systems, I corrected, noting another progress bar. Global network synchronization, 98% complete. Another irrelevant startup, James laughed. This real aviation is about physical assets. Planes, routes, terminals. Not apps. The room hummed with knowing chuckles. The airline industry's old guard loved dismissing digital transformation. Remember when she tried to pitch us last year? James smirked. What was it? Smart access management? Integrated digital infrastructure, I said quietly, checking the status. Elite passenger database loaded. Yes, because paper tickets were such a problem. Mom rolled her eyes. Face it, Sarah. You'll never understand real business. Not without proper guidance. Aviation requires experience, Dad lectured. Real operations. Not computer games. At least your brother understands the industry, Mom added. Look at him, VP at 30, modernizing our entire fleet. By buying more planes, I muttered, watching another status update. Terminal access controls ready. Global implementation standing by. It's called strategic growth, James preened. Understanding what airlines actually need. Not some complicated software that nobody wants. Speaking of understanding, one of Dad's executive friends chimed in. Did you see our quarterly numbers? Premium passenger revenue up 40%. That's real success, Dad beamed. Not? What was your last project about, Sarah? Access control systems. You mean her IT help desk job? James snickered. Oh sis, when are you going to join the real world? My laptop chimed softly. The message made me smile. All systems ready. Awaiting executive command. Actually, I stood slowly, closing my laptop. I'd like to discuss Skyway Systems. Sarah, please, Dad waved dismissively. These are serious aviation professionals here. Not your coding buddies. Just then phones started buzzing around the table. The room filled with alert sounds as messages flooded in. What the hell? James stared at his screen. The Elite Access system is down, I finished, opening my laptop again. Along with every terminal, lounge, and priority check-in desk in your network. That's impossible, Dad whispered, frantically checking his phone. Actually, I smiled, turning my screen to show the control interface. It's just the beginning. Would anyone like to discuss digital infrastructure now? This has to be a glitch. James jabbed at his phone, frantically calling his operations team. Our systems can't just stop working. I finished smoothly. They can when they're all running on Skyway's infrastructure. Which you'd know if you'd read my proposal last year instead of calling it computer games. Infrastructure. Dad's voice cracked as notifications kept flooding in. Every major airport reporting Elite Access failures. Lounges locked down, priority lanes frozen. Remember that IT help desk job? I smiled. Turns out integrating with every major airline's systems takes time. But having them all dependent on our platform? Worth the wait. The room erupted in chaos as aviation executives realized their premium passengers worldwide were suddenly flying coach. Mom's face had shifted from condescending to stunned. But, it's just software, she whispered. Software that controls every aspect of your passenger experience, I corrected. From check-in to boarding to lounge access. Amazing how complicated software becomes important when your platinum members are stuck in regular security lines. Impossible, James breathed. That would require access to our core systems. Which you gave us, I replied, pulling up contracts on my screen. Remember that minor digital services agreement you signed last month? The one you didn't bother reading because it was just IT stuff? Dad grabbed his phone, probably to call their legal team. I couldn't help but laugh. Looking for Harrison and Pierce? They're a bit busy. We just locked their managing partner out of the Admirals Club in Dubai. No. Mom whispered, watching James frantically texting his board members. Every major airline uses our platform now, I confirmed. Amazing what happens when you control all premium passenger access worldwide. Sarah, Dad tried, his airline executive brain finally catching up. The family's holdings, we could still. Too late, I cut in. The integration is complete. Though I hear some economy seats might be available. Around $10,000 each now that all upgrades are unavailable. The dinner guests were now huddled in panicked groups, calling their tech teams, desperately trying to restore their systems. I let them scramble for a moment before dropping the next bomb. Oh, and James? About that fleet modernization plan. I glanced at my laptop. Your investors just called an emergency board meeting. Something about digital infrastructure concerns. The next morning, I sat in my Manhattan office atop the former United Airlines building, now Skyway Tower, watching chaos unfold at JFK through my window. Every major news outlet was covering the global aviation crisis, as first-class lounges sat empty and elite passengers faced unprecedented delays. Ms. Wilson, my assistant, entered. Your family is in the lobby. Fifth time since the systems went dark. I glanced at the security feed. Mom had traded her Chanel suit for something less conspicuous. Her version of blending in with the common travelers. Dad clutched what looked like an emergency proposal. Send them up, I said, turning back to the wall of screens showing airport disruptions worldwide. And Angela? Has James been removed from the executive lounge database? Yes, Ms. Wilson. His biometric access was revoked an hour ago. They entered like stranded passengers into my command center. The global airport maps, the real-time passenger flows, the wall of system controls, a far cry from their physical assets philosophy. The board is meeting, Dad blurted out. Emergency session. The stock is in free fall. I know, I replied, not turning around. Every airline that dismissed our platform is facing a passenger revolt. Funny how quickly loyalty programs matter when they stop working. Sarah, please, Mom stepped forward. Your father has prepared a partnership proposal, a family merger. Like the integration deal I pitched last year? I finally turned to face them. Or did you forget telling me software was beneath the Wilson name? James sank into a visitor's chair, his VP badge now worthless at his own airports. We were just trying to protect the business. Business secured, I smiled, pointing to the chaos on the screens. Every premium passenger, every elite status, every priority service, all controlled by my complicated software. My phone buzzed with updates. FAA emergency meeting called. IATA requesting immediate intervention. Asian markets opening in 3 hours. The other airlines are threatening legal action. Dad tried his executive mind searching for leverage. A class action. With what standing? I asked sweetly. Check your contracts. Every airline signed over access control willingly. James's face went pale. You didn't. Standard integration agreement. I shrugged. Amazing what executives don't read when it's just IT stuff. The family shares. Mom whispered. Our airline holdings are worth about 1% of Skyway's market cap now, I completed. Though I hear some coach tickets are still available. Cash only. My tablet chimed. Another milestone. Oh look, I turned the screen toward them. Qatar Airways just signed our premium platform agreement. Full control of their first-class services as of. I checked my watch 2 minutes ago. What do you want? James finally asked, defeated. Money. Control. The family legacy. I have all that now, I replied. The real question is, what do you want? Because right now, you can't even access your own airport lounges. Dad clutched his proposal, probably calculating how to salvage their airline empire. That speech at the boardroom, I said to James, about real operations. Sarah, we were trying to guide you. Dad started. Well, now I control your operations, I cut him off. All of them. And that customer service job? I was mapping your entire infrastructure. My phone buzzed again. The EU Transport Commissioner wanted to discuss aviation security. I stood straightening my blazer. Security will show you out, I said, ignoring Dad's proposal. I have a call with Brussels. And James? About your executive access. I smiled. The premium terminals are being reconfigured. Digital transformation, you know. As they left, I watched their reflections fade in the window glass. Below, JFK's terminals blinked with delayed flight notifications, every premium service frozen under my control. My assistant appeared with the secured line. The commissioner is holding Ms. Wilson. I sat at my desk watching another private jet circle endlessly without landing clearance and smiled. Tell him the future of aviation is ready for discussion. And Angela. I glanced at the family photo I'd just removed from my wall. Cancel their frequent flyer accounts. Let's show them how real business disruption works.